What's up, you guys? It's Miss Brothers. Just wanted to take a second to go through Section 3. Again, you guys, this is that same practice, that scientific notation, Practice 1, that we started doing on the second and third. And I wanted to walk you through some parts and some things in Section 3. And again, you guys, just a quick reminder of how to use your calculator in order to do scientific notation. All right, let's start with A. We're working on A right here, and it's 2.3 times 10 to the third times 4.0 times 10 to the fifth, and the unit we're dealing with is grams. I'm going to deal with the unit first. Just remember, you guys, if we're multiplying something, grams times grams, that means our unit is going to be grams squared. So whenever we're doing something times something, unit-wise, it becomes a squared unit, okay? Now, as far as this, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to be 2.3, so if we're using a calculator, and in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and use this calculator right here. This is the TI-30XA, which is what we use in my classroom if you're borrowing one of my calculators. So we'll do that real quick. So it's going to be 2.3. And then you don't have to put times or anything just yet. We're going to deal with our exponent, which means we're going to use the EE button, which is this button right here. And it doesn't seem to matter what type of calculator you have as far as the Texas Instruments calculators. If it's a Texas Instrument, the EE button is normally over the 7. So we're going to click EE, which again brings up our little power or exponent, and our exponent is to the third. And then we're going to multiply that times this set of parentheses here. So multiply that times 4.0. And again, you guys, we've got an exponent here of 10 to the fifth, so we're going to go EE to the 5. And again, we get this big number right here, and we want to bring that down into scientific notation. And we're simply going to do that by going the second button. And on this particular calculator, you've got the science button above the 5. And then it gives you that 9.2 times 10 to the 8th grams squared. Okay. I'm not going to do the second one. Well, actually, let's do the second one because, again, it's just a reminder of how to deal with a negative exponent. So we're going to clear that out, and we are simply going to take 9.6. And again, this time, because we're using the newer calculator, the 30XA, we're going to go with our EE, and we have to put in -1. Now, this time, you guys, we're going to deal with this button right down here. This is the negative button. You have to put in your negative first before you can put in the exponent. So we're going to click negative, and you can see it pop up right there, and to the first, and we're going to multiply that times 5.2 times 10 to the second. So 5.2 EE to the second. Hit your equals button. And again, you guys, we want to put this into scientific notation. So we're going to hit the second button. We're going to hit the science button. And it's going to give us 4.992 times 10 to the second. Feel free to round up, you guys. And one of the things I want you to remember, in terms of rounding, we're basically going to go to the level of precision. So we've got to the nearest tenth here, to the nearest tenth here. So our answer is going to be to the nearest tenth, which puts us at 5.0 times 10 to the second, and again, it's milligrams times milligrams, so that's going to be milligrams squared. Okay? Now let's work on this one. We're doing a division problem, and it basically works the same way, but I want to point out that we've got some weird units we have to deal with, so let's deal with our weird units first, and then we'll do the multiplication. Now, I want you to remember that if you see something that's squared like centimeters squared, that's the same way as saying centimeters times centimeters, okay? So that means that we can cancel the centimeters down here. We can take one of these, and we can cancel it out with the same centimeters down here, but look what we have left. What we have left is centimeters, so that becomes the unit, okay? And now what we can do is we can do our math, and that's going to give us our final answer. So we're going to clear this out, and we're going to take 7.41 times 10 to the 6, so EE to the 6, and we are going to, oops, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, 7.41 EE to the 6, that's more like it, divided by this 5.63, 5.63 EE to the 4th equals, and again, you guys, we've got each of these, our units are telling us to the nearest hundredth, so that's what our answer is going to be. So that when we put this in, it's going to be 130. Oops, I forgot to put that into scientific notation. Whoopsie, I will do that right now. So again, second scientific notation, that gives us 1.32 times 10 to the second. And the reason I chose to put this to the nearest hundredth is because that's the level of precision that I'm given in the problem, to the nearest hundredth. That's what I'm going to put in right there. And again, my unit's going to be centimeters. Okay? Let's do one more. Let's do this one down here because, again, it gives us the weird unit thing that we have to deal with here. And again, you guys, I want you to remember, if I've got decagrams, or in this case, decigrams to the third, it's the same as saying dg times dg times dg, which means that I can take one of these and I can use it to cancel this one out in the denominator. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that one. And what's left, you guys, with these two, that's going to make this unit decigrams squared. Okay? Now we're free, since we've got our units established, now we're free to do the math. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got 8.44 times, so I'm going to put my EE button to the -2. So I'm going to hit my negative button first. And there it is, pops up right up there. And 2. And we are going to divide that by 4.1. Hit our EE button. That's going to be to the -4th. And now I remember I have to get that into scientific notation. So second, and my 5 button, otherwise known as my science button. Now again, you guys, look at our level of precision. We've got hundredths up here, and we've got to the nearest tenth right here. So as the most precise we can go is to the nearest tenth, so I know that's what my answer has to be. So right now my answer is 2.05 and a bunch of numbers times 10 to the second, and we're simply going to round this to 2.1. 2.1 times 10 to the second decigrams squared. Okay? And again, the reason we do that is because, as far as these units, is because we had decigrams cubed here. We had just decigrams down at the bottom. We canceled one out, which leaves us with decigrams squared. Okay? So hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, I didn't do all of the problems here, but I just wanted to take a quick minute and show you again how to deal with these problems, these scientific notation problems on a calculator. And again, you guys, just a quick reminder, if you've got one of these TI-30X calculators, you can do these problems the exact same way. It's just that you have to go through a couple more steps. Okay, so if we you'll notice, you guys, I'm in the scientific setting here on this calculator. Remember, when we're trying to get to, for instance, this first one, 2.3, I'm right here. And if I want to get to the 10 to the third, I have to do the extra step of hitting the second button, then hitting my EE button, then getting in, and that's going to be divided by 4.0. And again, I have to use my second button in order to get the 10 to the 5th, EE, and that's going to give you the 5th. And then this one, oops, I didn't do that one right, but this one, you guys, I already have it set up for scientific notation. And again, I have a video that I posted on Friday that takes you through how to get this calculator into scientific notation. Like I said, I like this calculator a little bit better only because I don't have to go through quite as many steps in order to get the work done on this. But if you've got this calculator right here, you most certainly can get it done. It just takes a little bit longer. All right, if you have any questions, let me know, but that is part 3.